Hello everyone and welcome to Vicarious Tim Reviews, and this is my first ever YouTube video, and I'd like to just take a moment to explain as to what it is that this channel is going to be about. Over the past couple of months on my Twitch channel, I have been going and playing through a bunch of games from my childhood, and I've noticed that despite some of them being 20, 25 years old, they hold up really well and could go and be released today and still be amazing games, while other ones, despite the fact that I loved them as a child and I have fond memories of them, they do not hold up well, like at all. So I'm just going to be going through and reviewing each game that is that I've played. And today's video is going to be on Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. So now that the introduction is done, let's get into my review of Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. So if you're unaware, if you've never heard or if you've never played of Paper Mario, it's a fairly simple concept. It's a Mario game where you play as Mario, and it's a turn-based RPG. And now what separates this from other Mario games is that you are actually just paper. The whole world and everything is made out of paper. Now there are a lot of special Mario games out there. But even still, with that being said, Paper Mario manages to go and be something extra special above that. And really what helps it out is the fact that you get to go and at one point in the game, read Bowser's diary. There's plenty of other things that you can go about doing in Paper Mario, but you'll always find yourself just wanting to go and read Bowser's diary. Now unfortunately, you only get to read it the one time. I know. But it's okay, because the fact that you even get to read it once is more than enough treat that Nintendo went ahead and blessed us with. So aside from reading Bowser's diary, what exactly goes on in Paper Mario? Well, the game starts off with Bowser kidnapping Princess Peach, as you would expect. But it's more than just that he takes this time. He also manages to go and steal her entire castle and brings it with him into space. And not only that, as if that wasn't enough, he's managed to go and steal the Star Rod. Now, what exactly is the Star Rod? Well, the Star Rod is a magical rod that can make all wishes come true. And once Bowser has the Star Rod, he goes and uses it to go and make all of his evil wishes come true, in true Bowser fashion. The Star Rod was guarded by 7 Star Spirits, which Bowser had defeated in order to go and steal the Star Rod. So it is your job as Mario to go and free each of the Star Spirits. And that's basically the premise of the game. Nintendo is known for having good music. They just are. It doesn't matter what game it is, they've always managed to go and put in some amazing music into their video games. Whenever the discussion of the best video game song of all time gets brought up, you know a Nintendo game is going to be made, and this game is no different. How Nintendo manages to consistently make some of the best video game music of all time boggles my mind. And from the moment that the title theme hits on this game, you can tell that this game is no different. Every single song is amazing. Whether it's you walking around in Goomba Village, or whether it's you entering your 15th battle, the music is amazing. It's that simple. On a side note, the whole reason I even began playing old video games on my Twitch was because of the Paper Mario music. At one point I just remembered one of the songs, it got stuck in my head, and I just had to play the game. That's the power of Nintendo music right there. From the very beginning, Paper Mario has that feeling of adventure down perfectly, but even beyond that, the world itself just feels alive. There's a post office where you can go and get letters. There's a father and a son selling you badges. There's your sidekicks who all have their own goals, and they have their own families, friends, and loved ones who care about them, and will write to them. It's those little details that really make you feel that instead of the world existing around you, you exist in the world. Throughout the game, you will be picking up a bunch of different companions, and all of them are incredible characters. Some are more useful than others, granted, but they're all very entertaining in their own right. Whether it's Goombario, who would sit there and just snitch on enemies to go and tell you their HP and weaknesses and strengths, or Parakarry, who looks like Pierce from The Office. And don't ask me how it is that I made that connection, or why. It's just what I saw, and I can't unsee it. And so now I pass this curse on to you. You're welcome. There is Sushi, a fish, and there is Bombette, who rebels against Bowser. There's Lady Bow, who wants to go and defeat one of Bowser's minions. And speaking of Lady Bow, she herself has a sidekick. Lady Bo has what can only be described as the greatest name pun that Nintendo has ever written. He's a butler. He's a boo. You ready for this? His name is Bootler. If you don't think that Nintendo deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for this kind of S-tier writing and wordplay, then honestly, you just lack any kind of joy in your life. I love Bootler. Vote Bootler 2020. Now, this has to be a talking point when it comes to retro games because some people, graphics mean everything. And it's always going to be difficult for games that are 20 years old to look good graphically. But in this case, this is where Paper Mario excels. Paper Mario does not look dated in any way, shape, or form. This game does not look like it's 20 years old. It doesn't even look like it's 5 years old. It looked like it came out last year. I genuinely believe that this game still looks incredible, and that is no small feat for a game that is 20 years old. It's turn-based with some quick-time action events going on during the battle. All that means is that when prompted, you have to perform an action. Whether it's holding back on the stick and then letting go for Mario's hammer, or holding down A and then letting go for Bombette. The combat, despite being simple to understand, still offers a variety of things to go and do throughout it to where the combat never actually feels like it's getting stale, even as you become just too strong. Diverse enemy types mean that you can't just jump on people randomly. Flying enemies mean that they're gonna go and dodge ground attacks, such as your hammer. It's simple, while still being in-depth enough to where the combat never gets old. Now, I've gone on and on about how much I love this game, but that does not mean that the game is perfect. The game has its flaws, but at worst, they're minor inconveniences. The fast travel system isn't the greatest, having to go into the sewers and find the right tube, and there's no way to go and know unless you just remember which tube is the correct one to go and lead you where. And as the game goes on, you not only get stronger, but you also get better at the game. And getting better at a game where you're also getting stronger means that enemies start to not feel that tough and the difficulty goes down quite a bit. And there will come a point where you're supposed to be facing a hard enemy and you just time your jumps perfectly 36 times in a row. And you one-shot them. And that was the difficult boss. Now at the start of this, I was asking the question, does this game still hold up? The answer is 100% yes. If you couldn't guess it already, I love this game. From the story that it's telling, to the characters, to the music, this game is incredible even by today's standards. If you haven't played this game in a while, or you've never played it at all, I highly recommend figuring out a way to play this game and going through it. It's truly a special game. I give it 9 vibing crows out of 10.